The second chapter of the book of Exodus tells the story of Moses' exile to the land of Midian. After killing an Egyptian, Moses had a warrant for his arrest and was threatened with capital punishment.
It's him! There!
Fearing for his life, he fled Egypt and escaped to a land called Midian. Upon his arrival at Midian, he met with the local priest Jethro, who gave him refuge and shelter and offered him his daughter Zipporah to wife. And it is believed that it was during his exile in Midian, where he lived for many years before returning to Egypt, that he learned about the Creator God Yahweh, the God of the Israelites. It was also here in Midian that Moses had a direct encounter with God at Mount Sinai, who spoke with him directly and ordered him to return to Egypt and tell Pharaoh to free the children of Israel. This all happened in the land of Midian. Where was this land located? Although the biblical text doesn't provide any explicit details about the location of Midian or the route that Moses took to reach this country, it is strongly indicated in the text and is agreed upon by all scholars that the route that Moses took to reach Midian on his first exile out of Egypt was the same route that the Hebrews later took on the exodus out of Egypt. It is also agreed that Midian was located roughly in the same area as biblical Mount Sinai, since Moses stumbled across this mountain while he was still in Midian. Traditional biblical scholarship, keeping up with the traditional opinion that the Levant and the regions surrounding modern-day Palestine, Israel, represents the biblical Holy Land, has identified Midian with different sites in this region and has searched for evidence for biblical history in Arabia and the Levant, with little to no result. The Bible describes the Midianites with two seemingly opposite descriptions. First, as the descendants of Abraham through his second wife Keturah.
Abraham had taken another wife whose name was Keturah. She bore him Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua.
This is the most explicit description that we have of the Midianites, as it relates directly to the ethnic origins of this group. This makes the Midianites ethnic Hebrews, who shared a common heritage with the Israelites. However, the same Hebrew Bible also describes the Midianites as Ethiopians.
And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman.
How is this possible? How could Zipporah, the daughter of the priest of Midian, be a Midianite and an Ethiopian at the same time?
For he had married an Ethiopian woman.
To deal with this supposed contradiction in the biblical text, a minority of rabbis and biblical commentators have identified Moses' Ethiopian wife in Numbers 12:1 as a separate individual from Zipporah the Midianite. This, however, is a minority view and is rejected not only by the majority of scholars, but also by the biblical narrative itself, which gives no support to this whatsoever. How then could Moses' wife be Ethiopian and a Hebrew at the same time? The answer is simple. Zipporah, like her fellow Midianites, was certainly an ethnic Hebrew, as a descendant of Abraham, but also Ethiopian in nationality. She belonged to the non-Cushite populations of ancient Cush, the land where the Midianites lived as a small Bedouin minority. A recurring theme in the Hebrew Bible is the connecting of Midian to the land of Sheba, or Saba, the capital of ancient Cush. Two different Sabas are mentioned in the Hebrew Bible, one of Cushite origins and one Hebrew.
And the sons of Cush, Seba, and Havilah, Sabta, and Raamah.
As one of the descendants of Cush, Cushite Saba was traditionally associated with East Africa, primarily Sudan and the region surrounding modern-day Ethiopia. It was also the name of the capital of ancient Nubia, later renamed Meroe by the Persian invaders. Saba, the capital of Nubia, is the only geographic area in the entire Hebrew Bible that is explicitly connected to Midian. Isaiah is the first to make the historical connection.
The multitude of camels shall cover thee, the dromedaries of Midian and Ephah, all they from Sheba shall come.
Habakkuk follows up with another similar connection.
I saw the tents of Cushan in affliction, and the curtains of the land of Midian did tremble.
We have no other city or country in the Bible that is connected to Midian geographically, and only the Cushite capital Saba is repeatedly linked to Midian. This is a clear indication that the authors of the Hebrew Bible knew that the Midianites lived in ancient Cush. Another Seba in the Hebrew Bible is the brother of Midian, who, along with his third brother Dedan, is named after the region in which he was born, the regions of Saba and Dedan, two Cushite regions, according to the Table of Nations in Genesis 10.
And the sons of Cush, Sheba, and Dedan.
Modern-day Nubian archaeology has somewhat confirmed this opinion, as it is now known that the population of ancient Cush was mainly of Cushite origin, but that there was a small band of Bedouin tribes that were of non-Cushite origin that lived on the outskirts of Saba. This group was distinctly different from the rest of the population of the country, and was known primarily for corrupt behaviors, such as banditry and theft, qualities which resemble very much those which the Bible describes the Midianites with. Future archaeological work will shed more light on this topic. The location of Midian in the deserts of ancient Nubia is only the first clue on our search for Mount Sinai. Another major clue will be the location of Taberah, where the Hebrews, while standing on the outskirts of Mount Sinai, were consumed by the fire of God for complaining too much.
He called the name of the place Taberah, because the fire of the Lord burnt among them.